Is going on, Rotogrinders? Dean here at Dean 7904. If you want to get all technical on me, that is the handle around the DFS industry. 5:30 on the East Coast, 2:30 West Coast, 4:30 Tennessee time. Of course, I'm just time for the flagship show here at Rotogrinders. It's called Grinderslive. Join me today. You guys know Will, Chief Justice. Will, how are things in your world?
I'm good, man. Having a blast. Another day of DFS is upon us. Really like this slate, which I like most slates. And
you like them all.
Got to catch them all. Pokemon. It's going to be good. So I'm excited. And what's up, chat? Like, subscribe, turn on notifications. I'm getting out of the way because Dean may have forgotten that. We had so much fun pre-show. Smash that like button. Smash that like button. Let's do it.
Our pre-show conversation almost never consists of, and this is not just you, it's anybody, what's going on in the slate. I like to get conversation organic and just somehow we're off the board. What are we talking? Sports cards? We were talking a couple other things as well, too.
Hold on. Even more importantly, my boy Matthew is in the chat, and he said, is this a Hornets hat? Yes, it is, Matthew. I got this not last year, not this season, not the season before, because the season before was COVID, so the season before that. But yeah, this came right from, if you can take a look at that, this is a all black with the suede and the black and gold emblem there. This came right from the team store. Maybe you could have got it online. I'm not sure. But yes, the answer to your question is a Hornets hat, one of my favorites. And if you've been watching the show, I also have a turquoise one just like this one that I also got from the team store. I bought them both at the same time. But so there you have it. Yeah.
And that's pre-LaMelo, right? You bought it before LaMelo?
This is pre-LaMelo, yes.
Yeah, so you're not just some homer like, oh, they got a good player now. You've like, this is your team and that's that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Hornets are my team, it's been my team. This is pre-LaMelo. I don't have a post-LaMelo hat, but I will, trust me, I will have some more Hornets paraphernalia rolling into the station here real soon.
Talk baseball in a second, but speaking of basketball, myself and Grant and SBK, we're going to be running it back. We're going to be actually jumping on at 8:30, talking tonight's showdown slate. It's going to be good times for sure. And then we're going to be actually watching the game. Mute the TV and watch the game with us. We're going to be hanging out for like 3 hours. We're going to get goofy. We're going to get giddy. It's going to be weird, man, because 3.5 hours, we have some content to kill. So any questions, please, we love participation from chat. Feel free to fire off any sort of questions and have fun with us. Watch the game with us. That's at 9 o'clock. For that reason, we're messing around with our whole schedule tonight. The sports card show is actually not happening tonight. I believe it will be happening next Tuesday. But 7:20 is early time for our PGA. Our PGA show tonight is 7:20, and then at 8:30. So yeah, we got content all throughout. Of course, in between that, we have Crunch Time. That is the premium content. Crunch Time tonight. Kevin Roth, Cheese is Good, Dave Potts, two-time millionaire winner, along with SDL cards. Roth will tell you what's going on weather-wise. Do have his article up, and then as is always, I never know if this was written this morning or if this was updated. He does update it generally around this time. We'll go ahead and drop it in chat for the people. Sure, why not? And follow Roth on Twitter, and obviously Roth will be on Crunch Time, give you guys the most updated update as far as what's going on. Otherwise, we do have. I mean, we're going to talk about it right as if these games are going to play. The tricky one is one of the most popular games in Toronto, in Buffalo, more accurately. It's currently orange, yellow, Detroit, yellow, green, whatever. We'll see. Stay tuned on that. I mean, I think Atlanta's always going to have a potential, whatever. The goofiness that happened last night. Was that just Atlanta just didn't want to face Darvish, but like they had to face him today anyway? Why did they not start that game? Because my understanding is it never even rains. That's at least that's the way I get it.
They channeled their inner Washington.
Yeah. Like I think the rules are like it's the team's decision before the game starts, and once the game starts, and it's the umpire's decisions. But whatever, doesn't matter. It's DFS. All we care about is today and today only. That was certainly frustrating if you guys had some Padres and Braves yesterday, but another one to keep an eye on. And yeah, we're looking at green in Chicago, green in Cincinnati. But yeah, we'll go ahead and drop this link in chat for the people. It may change if you refresh it a little bit. Hopefully Roth will update it soon enough. General assessment. We have a course slate as well too. Not a lot of pitchers we can necessarily trust. That's sort of the nature of this season. A pile of runs scored yesterday.
A pile does not do it justice, Dean. It was a little bit more than a pile.
But I see Eric Johnson in the chat. I see him talking about it. I don't know if you watched the show yesterday, and this is not by no means a victory lap, but I was saying, like, if ever there was a chance to play John Lester, this might be your last chance ever to play John Lester, ever. You know, just because of the nature of the slate and the matchup, and there was no pitchers alike anyway, and the Marlins lineup was just an absolute disaster. And I know he said he had like 25%. So I'm curious if he won all the money last night, because I gave him like the thumbs up as much as you can give Lester, but I did not actually push that button. I could not do it, unfortunately. So no victory lap by any means, but I'm curious how Eric did. Your assessment as far as tonight, before we dive in, we're going to be talking about from a pitching perspective. Then we'll talk about from stacks. We'll dig into stacks a good bit. And then after that, we'll go around the horn really quickly. And then we want to yield to the chat, whatever's in the chat's mind. Feel free to fire off your questions. Devin's going to join the show near the end. We got to leave him at least 10 minutes. That's my bad. I've been poor job time management of late. We want to give more time to the chat, but what are your thoughts? What are we looking at? It's a Coors slate, and I think Coors is fine, but I like other spots more. What say you?
Yeah, I think on DK, I am going to focus a little bit more on DK because the build is different on FanDuel. I think on DK, I don't know if we spend all the way up on any pitcher. We've got, these guys are okay. Like Luis Garcia is just okay. Facing Cleveland, I'm not expecting him to come out and have an immaculate game.
No J-Ram.
Doesn't matter. It's Luis Garcia.
I know, but that's their best hitter. I think he gets a slight bump. Yeah,
but I'm not excited about it at 10-4. And yeah, I know salary doesn't matter as much in baseball, but it does matter if I want to do a couple of extra different things. Trevor Rogers at 10K is okay. But when you've got Yu Darvish at 98, Aaron Nola at 95, which is probably going to be one of my favorites, or almost everybody's favorite. I think that's a big deal. German Marquez is probably my absolute favorite pitcher at 8,100 in Coors. Like and everybody's going to say, "Oh, it's Coors." Listen, this guy pitches in Coors all season. It's not like he's pitching in San Francisco half the year or Tampa Bay half the year, and then he has to, go up there and try to skirt around things. This is his home field, so I'm not afraid of him pitching at all. So Marquez is probably at the top of my list at 8,100 in terms of top 3 to 5 pitchers. So Darvish, Nola, Marquez, those are kind of my 3. I think if I had to go all the way down, probably Dane Dunning. I don't think I'd go past Dane Dunning. I'm not playing Alex Wood, not playing Luis Garcia, possibly Trevor Rogers. So if you heard that list, you heard my 5 pitchers, even though I didn't read them off top to bottom. You heard my, 3 favorites plus another 2.
I got some takes. I think Trevor Rogers is basically unplayable. They're pushing back. The Marlins are going nowhere. They're going to sell off on Marte. They're going to sell off on Duvall. Rogers is one of their arms of the future. If you look at his pitch count of late, the 81 pitches last game versus Atlanta, I think that was a pinch hit situation, if I remember correctly. It actually was. I was at the game, so I should remember that. I think that was the game I was at. Yeah. That was the Acuna game. I know you're an Atlanta fan. What a bummer.
Yeah,
but
and the Acuna game I was at, he hit I think he had a pretty hefty at bat and then sent one out of the park. That was a Sunday game though. When I was there 2 weeks ago, maybe 2-3 weeks ago. But anyway, carry on.
Yeah, Rogers is like, his price is like at an all-time high. I think he's a good pitcher. I just don't think he goes beyond like 5 innings. He's got to thread that needle. Bad ballpark as well too. It's a negative ballpark shift pretty immensely there, going from Miami to Washington. And so I have no interest, like zero interest in Rogers. I think he's good, but why? Means is another guy. John Means, good pitcher. K matchup there in Toronto, Tampa, good ballpark as well. But it's a full asking price, and He did throw 75 pitches or so his last time out as far as the rehab, but we haven't seen him for a while. Baltimore, another team, not really going anywhere. So it's a little, maybe he can do it in 5 or 6 innings and 85 pitches. Like that's possible. There's definitely K upside against Tampa. Kind of sort of somewhat interesting. I definitely agree with your Herman Marquez takes. Seattle jumping to the National League, losing the DH. Marquez, you mentioned, he pitches fine in Colorado. 3 home runs, given up all year in 70 innings. He's actually averaging more fantasy points per game in Coors games. That Seattle lineup is not good. I'm pulling up the plate IQ right now especially the back end. Like Raleigh is in there once again. Kelnick, I know he's an uber prospect. Like he's been, he's one of the top 5 guys in baseball on the prospect, but he was a disaster his first time coming up and, trying to figure stuff out, and they're going to keep throwing him out there. Why not? But he just looks terrible so far. There's certainly skill, but he's really, really raw. More, plenty of Ks, long, plenty of Ks, 24% as far as averaging collectively, because the top half is pretty contact heavy with Crawford and France. But I think Marquez, he survives. Decent shot at the W as well, too. The one I want to talk about, so the price on Nola is really, really appealing. I know he's jumping in the American League. He's going to face a DH. I don't know who is the DH. Like, have you seen the Yankees lineup today? I'm sure you saw it. No Judge, obviously, no Urshela. Again, telltale sign. Whenever Brett Gardner is batting 6th, when he's batting 6th, there's 3 players worse than Brett Gardner in the lineup. You should want to attack that lineup. Greg Allen, I didn't know he was still in baseball, to be honest. Like he was on Cleveland a few years back.
Yeah, played for the Indians.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, speedster. This Estevan Florio's a person. He's got some speed. I think I saw there. I was looking at his minor league stuff, and then Tyler Wade's not good. And even the guys in front of him, like Gleyber Torres, has been sketch.
And look, you left off Luke Voigt as well.
Well, yeah, he's out as well. Yeah.
And Miguel Andujar was their kind of backup to the backup, and he's out. The Yankees have been, it's a rough stretch for them. Last year it was their bigger bats for half the season, and they've kind of experienced that here again. It's almost like when what's the good outfielder that was there? Jacoby. What was his last name?
Ellsbury?
Yes, when Ellsbury was there, you'd be like, man, Jacoby's so good, and every year just runs into a wall and hurts his shoulder. It's like, guy, what are you doing? And maybe I'm dating myself. But
big picture, man. Think big picture.
Every year. It's crazy.
So the Nola thing, plenty of Ks of late too. Like if you look at his recent streak, he had a couple easy games against, I think it was the Mets and the Marlins, I want to say, and tons of Ks. There's strikeouts in this lineup here for the Yankees, especially the power guys, Stanton, Odor, and Sanchez. He hasn't pitched in 2 weeks. He was on COVID protocol, so he hasn't pitched. I don't think he actually had it. I'm not certain of that.
He did not. I did read up on it. He did not.
Alec Baum, I think, is the guy he contacted it from. Doesn't matter. But yeah, he hasn't pitched in 2 weeks, which I think is kind of sort of somewhat noteworthy. And the same thing with Darvish. Darvish went in the IL. He's going to pitch yesterday, and he hasn't pitched like in 13, 14 days, whatever it was. Does that hurt Noah's pitch count? A guy that they'll let him go 100 pitches. And he's cheap. And he's going to be popular. And I don't know, who knows if there's any sort of repercussions on the 2 weeks off. And I think he was symptom free, but yeah, but this Yankee lineup's terrible. But grabbing a DH now, the DH isn't good.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Aaron Nola. I'm perfectly fine rolling him out. I do think on FanDuel, and I think that's something to discuss. I think we've got to get a little bit more, or be a little bit more fine-tuned with how we want to approach it. Because on FanDuel, if you look at the price and disparity, yet again, you're going to feel very comfortable with Aaron Nola at 9,100. Yu Darvish is 11,200. Trevor Rogers is 10K flat. Luis Garcia is 9,600. Now the coin flip for me on FanDuel is, do I play Nola or do I play Marquez? That's my coin flip. And
I made 2 shell lineups on FanDuel. Not to cut you off, but I made 2 on FanDuel. I had some tickets into their $44 contest tonight. I think
100K the first tonight. Hey, you got to fire a bullet in there.
I wouldn't. No, for the record, I would not fire a bullet in there. And I had 7 tickets or whatever it was, and I wish it was not 100K in the first place. Unless, of course, I win. Retroactively, I take it all back, but I'm not going to win this thing. Come on, there's like thousands of people.
Hey, Dean, I've taken it down before with one lineup.
100K?
Yes.
Oh, it must be nice. I've never done 100K before.
Yes, I've done it before. It can be done. And in fact,
Single
I've
bullet.
done it on multiple occasions. So don't, if you build it, they will come.
Well, I'm building 7, and I have 2 shell lineups, and you get the 2 guys. I made one with Nola and one with Marquez. I just think Nola's going to be so popular because it's so easy, and the Yankee lineup's terrible, and salary almost doesn't matter if you're building these lineups.
Listen, my boy Eric Johnson is handing out the free candy again. We say play Nola. He'd say don't play Nola. You know I'm playing Nola. And that's nothing against Eric. I'm just having a ball. I appreciate you, Eric. He's always in the chat. This is what we want. We want the people to come hang out.
Disagreements are great. I welcome them.
Yeah. I mean, look, for what it's worth, I'm more concerned about Nola on Prize Picks than I am in my DFS streaks, because I am taking the over on his fantasy points for what it's worth. But
I should mention though, since you mentioned Prize Picks, you had a video out there yesterday. You're starting a new series. Is it going to be Mondays only? When are you firing off your videos here on the stream?
Oh yeah, it'll be on Mondays. I'll have some Prize Pick stuff up every Monday. Should be good stuff. I got a pretty good run going on Prize Picks. Yesterday we were 2 for 3. I had under on De Jong, but I got him at 21.5, and he finished with 21. Hey, it's got a grind in line. That show will be on tonight, by the way. And I took the over on Ohtani and the over on Cal Gibson, and the Gibson one didn't work out. But I mean, if you put a little bit on the line and you had a flex, you made a few dollars, and that's all we can ask for. And that's what I'm trying to do. I think if I'm trying to get 80 to 90% win rate, which is probably going to be impossible.
That's pretty ambitious.
But Dean, I'm telling you, I've been fairly close this season on Prize Picks. Here's why. It's just like because I get to pick the props that I like, and I stick to what I'm good at. And I think this is a good lesson for everyone, no matter what you're doing. Why do I play FanDuel? I'm really good at it. So I stick to where the money's going to be coming in the most. And so, that's just kind of how I approach it. So for any of you that are listening, play where you're good at, do what you're good at. I'm really good, I feel like, on Prize Picks at grinding the fantasy point lines. So I tend to cater what I'm doing more to the fantasy score, because it's like FanDuel scoring. So I feel like I've got a pretty good handle on the predictive analysis, if you will. But no matter what you're doing, man, do what you're good at, and you're going to be successful. Takes a little bit of hard work, a little bit of luck sometimes, but you're going to get there.
I got a flashback to that. Was that Cynthia Freeland? Like they gave her like a 94% win rate or something like that on some graphic.
Yeah. Last thing, Eric, we can all take a victory lap, right? Because it's always a victory lap. We're not going to get it right every day, right? Eric's not going to get it right every day. I'm not going to get it every day, right? And guess what? The Detroit lineup is going to suck. And the next night you can come out and take the worst pitcher on the slate, and they go out and get 7 Ks against them. You take a better pitcher and they get blown up. It's just how the cookie crumbles. With baseball, I'm into the long-term numbers. And so I'm going to stick with Aaron Nola. I think he mows this Yankees lineup down. And guess what? If he gives up 5 runs today, tip my hat to the Yankees. You did it, and I move on to the next one.
I don't want to be all in on Nola. Like the math says Nola's a really strong play, but
I'm not all in on him now.
Yeah, I'm just saying for myself. That's not what I'm hearing. I just wanted to clarify. He's a good math play. It's a bad matchup, yada yada. But I think what about? I'm trying to think of the pivot. Skubal, especially on DK. I like him a good bit. I think he's got an extreme pitcher's umpire as well. It's the only extreme I saw. Texas versus Detroit. I did drop the link in chat. We have an update as far as weather from Roth, of course. A better update will be coming at 6:30 and 7 o'clock on crunch time later on. But just worth noting, orange, yellow in Toronto, delay of some sort looks fairly likely. So, that is, I don't know when it's going to be, or, obviously the closer we are, the better analysis you can give. And Detroit, likely there's a delay of some sort, but really unlikely there's anything worse than that. Atlanta, still yellow, orange. So those are the main ones are monitoring. Something may pop up, obviously. Skubal, the tricky one here with the Skubal is like, it seems like they're pretty clearly want to shut down Mize. Like Mize was really good yesterday in 4 innings, and that's that. Who cares?
Oh,
you're out.
He's done.
Yeah, you're out. But why is Skubal going 90+ pitches, and he's basically the same thing. Like he's a big prospect for a team that's going nowhere. Maybe I'm just being paranoid. We haven't seen this at a Skubal yet, but at some point you would think they would push back. I don't know if it's happening tonight. But I just, that thought is in my head. Like, why would they keep pressing Skubal if they're not going to press Mize? I know it's two different people, but same organization. You know, they're in the same position. Why wouldn't they have similar philosophies? Or maybe I'm overthinking it.
You know, we just keep rolling it out until they give us some information. We've got the information on Mize. He is on an innings limit, and I think we want to make that clear. We talked about that on the morning grind yesterday. It is an innings limit, and because it's an innings limit, he's going to end up being on a pitch limit, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So he's going 4 innings. Whatever he's at 4, he's done. He's gone. That's it. It may be 3 some games, maybe 2 some games. We don't know, but it seems clear that Mize is on a 4 innings limit. And, you know, I would be cautious with Skubal, but they haven't given us any information. And if that's the case, I think we roll it out. I don't like
at least
Skubal.
90 pitches in his last 10 games, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, he's not my favorite pitcher in the world. Like, if I'm playing Skubal at 7,700, I think that's what he is on FanDuel, right? Yeah, I'm just going up to 8,100 and playing Marquez. I have no reason to play Skubal at that price. So
he's 8-2 on FanDuel. I think he's 7-7 on DK.
Yeah, and if he's 8-2 on FanDuel, I'll just pay the extra 400 and play Marquez at 86. Like, that's, you know, on FanDuel, I'm either playing Nola or Marquez. That's what I'm doing. I'm going single entry on FanDuel today. So maybe as we get into some of the questions, if anybody's playing single entry, because we have the single entry series, please drop some questions. I'll be glad to answer any of those. I'm really pumped about this single entry series.
Yeah, it's just free equity. There's no reason not to play it. I love single entry contracts as is, and it's $3 this week. I didn't see it. I was looking for it in the lobby, and I couldn't, unless I just missed it or already signed up for it and just forgot. But maybe I just missed it in the lobby. But and my biggest team was on that. And I don't know. I cracked at least 200 last night, but I mean, surely somebody at 300. I'm sure the way the offenses were. That's on FanDuel. I don't think anybody 300 on DK. What about McClanahan? He's cheap enough on FanDuel. The tricky part is he's another guy. They're not going to push too hard. He probably doesn't get the quality start. You know, Yarbrough didn't do great this matchup yesterday, but McClanahan, a different style pitcher, more of a K guy. You know, are they going to give him enough to rack up 7 or 8 Ks potentially against Baltimore?
He could. I think it depends on, you know, how well is he doing today, and is he going to keep the walks under 9%? Or let's say 10%. I like to round up, and I know I'm giving them, you know, 0.9% more, and at least in terms of the information that we have here. But if you think about 10% of the batters, that basically means, you know, every 1 1/3 inning, if it was 3-3-3, he'd be walking someone. I mean, so that's kind of how I think about it. So if you think about it like that, he should be walking probably at least 2 to 3 guys within a 6-inning period, depending on how many hits he gives up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you know, 2 to 3 guys he's going to walk. That's opportunity that we're going to have to score some runs. And then I look at this team. The K rates aren't crazy. But you know, you got Gutierrez at 31 and Santander at 30. Those are your big ones. Everybody else is fairly low. The problem is, man, he's throwing really high velocity fastball. I mean, you know, he's up in the 97 range on average. And then when you go and look at this team, no one's hitting it really well outside of Mountcastle. I mean, no one. You know, the whiff rates, and even Mountcastle, he's got it. Not Mountcastle, Austin Hayes. I'm sorry. But Mountcastle's got a whiff rate of 55%. It's just they're not hitting high velocity very well. So I think he's got a chance to pick up some strikeouts and possibly keep the pitch count down. So I do think that McClanahan is sneaky, but I don't like him more than Marquez. I mean, there's no way I'm paying. Isn't he 8,600? Yeah, there's no way I'm paying 8,600 for McClanahan.
7-8 on FanDuel.
Right. I'm not playing him there either. I just find the money and play Marquez. But as you can see, I've kind of planted my flag on Marquez and Nola. Those are my 2 guys because I'm really focusing on single entry a little bit more. And so, you know, if you guys have multi-entry questions, I'm more than happy to answer those as well. But I am going to be focusing more on single entry, the single entry approach while we're in the middle of this single entry series.
Would you play Dunning if you're a mass multi-entering? My concern with him is the same deal. Like innings, like he was really good last game, really good. He gave up 1 hit, but he only threw 5 innings and threw 64 pitches, and that's that. And that's been the story with him all year. And same situation as Detroit. Texas is going nowhere. He's a big prospect. Why would you push him? He's 6'7" on DK, so like he can definitely thread that needle and have 5 good innings against the Detroit team, which I know sometimes they pop up and have big days. like yesterday. Not one of the better lineups, obviously. Extreme pitchers, umpire as well too. Dunning, is he in the MME pool?
On DK, yes. On FanDuel, no.
Yeah, that's sort of my take as well. Anybody? Oh, you Darvish. I think it's also kind of a side thing. He's 11-2 on FanDuel, but the price is pretty decent on DK.
I will say this in terms of FanDuel and DK. DK, I mean, he's just so much more affordable. I think he's going to end up in a lot more lineups. On FanDuel, for me, the approach with you is I'm spending up to be contrarian because I know Nola's kind of going to be, I think, the favorite on FanDuel, which is why I'm probably going to have Marquez more than likely. Notice I'm saying more than likely. I'm going to build and kind of see where I end up. I do think Nola might have an opportunity for more Ks, even though Seattle's just as bad right now. But I do think there's value in spending up for you. What if you hits a 60 spot today and then you get like 45 from Nola and 45 from Marquez? I'm generally speaking in terms of FanDuel scoring, those extra 15 points are kind of a big deal, especially if and a lot of the offenses aren't as expensive. Like even though you're in Coors tonight, Colorado isn't expensive, and I know it's because they haven't been great. But a lot of the offenses are really affordable on FanDuel. So I think there's value in spinning up to you, understanding that you're going to get him in a lot lower ownership than usual.
Yeah, I have 7 lineups there tonight, as I was saying, in the 44, and I almost definitely going to make one with you, Darvish. Kind of overspend because there's plenty of value to kind of make things work.
Yeah.
I just put up the ownership. It's just it's a hard job to do the ownership, obviously, and who am I to besmirch? But we have Nola and McClanahan both at 23% on FanDuel. I disagree with that number. I think Nola's higher. I think McClanahan's lower. And that's sort of my take. Both are going to grab shares, obviously. Is that the wrong take? Are they correct? Am I just talking nonsense over here?
I mean, Dean, I guess I'm trying to figure out where we're going to spend money on the bats. I think that's my question because
Toronto?
Marquez is 4%. Yeah, maybe Toronto. That's probably, because But Toronto doesn't even really have a lot of ownership today. Simeon's 5%. Bo Bichette is 8%. I'm talking FanDuel, by the way, guys. So just roll with me here. 13% for Vlad, 13% for Springer, 9% for Teoscar. It's not going there. We've got some ownership for Boston, I think, because they hung a pretty good number and because they're facing Thomas Hatch. But, that team has a fair amount of ownership. And then a couple of the Marlins bats are a little up there for the slate, like Marte at 15, Duvall at 12. But there's not a whole lot of ownership. It's very spread out, as it should be, with a little bit of concentration on Boston and Toronto.
Marte and Duvall.
Oh, and Cincinnati as well. Jesse Winker's at 30%, but he's only 3,200. So he's not expensive.
Price is goofy.
Yeah.
By the way, you mentioned against Hatch for the Blue Jays, and their entire bullpen worked yesterday, with the exception of Dallas. They called up this Hatch guy. Boston certainly well in play. 11.5 is the total in that game. Big number, of course, weather pending. And, right now, my thought process is I'm probably going to be either all in or all out, or like 7 guys or no guys from that game. We'll see what Roth has to say as far as the weather. But as always, probably not the best spot to have like 2 guys in that game, unless it's, it's safe and good to go. All right, give me the summary as far as the arms. We'll talk some stacks. We'll go around the horn really quickly. We want to talk to the chat mostly.
Arms, I'm just on DK. I'm just going on in terms of pricing. Darvish, Nola, Marquez, Skubal, Dunning. That's about it. And Trevor Rogers, if I want to get really different, in hopes that he could K about 8 guys in 5 innings.
I'll add one, by the way. If you want to get really different on DK, Josiah Gray making his major league debut, big time prospect in base. I think he's like a number 1 prospect in the Dodger organization. It looks like he's not going to be opening. He's probably going to be the long man, which I think is a good thing because we saw him go 4 and change as far as the minors. So it'll extend his chances to grab a W, because if he starts the game, he only goes 4 2/3. He can't get the win, obviously. I don't know if you need the salary, but he is a prospect making his major league debut. Not the greatest spot against San Fran, but I think he's an interesting little salary saver. I don't know if you've read into him at all today, but I was looking at his, I think they got him from Philadelphia. I want to say 2nd rounder, big time prospect. just, I don't know how much you need it because salary is pretty
I
open
don't
on
need
DK.
it. Don't need it.
If you're MMAing, I think
any way you want it, that's the way you need. Anyway, good song. Bum, 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 bum.
We're gonna get hit with copyright, and the YouTube's gonna
Oh
come in
yeah,
here
sorry guys, my bad. Hey,
strike.
Sorry.
What's up, YouTube? Do hit the like button, subscribe, turn on notifications. The RG Premium, all the tools we're showing off, of course, that's just the half of it, not even the half of it. If you want to use them at your own leisure, get yourself $10 off the first month. You can do that with just one sport, baseball, or get all the sports. Football, right around the corner. That's college and pro. Basketball, there's still basketball content. Of course, we're going to be on tonight, YouTube, 8:30, giving out some content. Myself, Grant, SBK, watching the game the entire whole way, 3 hours and change, however long it goes. Esports, hockey, I'm sure I missed golf. The golf show is also on later on tonight as well. Be sure to tune in for that.
Can I hop in here?
Yeah.
I can't talk enough about our college football product.
Oh yeah?
My boy
Chopper?
PSU fan. I mean, man, him and Sean. That is Sean. Anyway, and fear my turtle. If you guys are looking in the streets, I mean, this product is fantastic. The Discord is unlike any Discord you're going to get on Rotogrinders, right? Like sometimes the NBA Discord can be kind of catty. You got guys clawing for who's got the best takes.
No.
And, and so, the NFL is pretty cool, but I'm telling you, it's worth it just for the college football product if you want to get involved. I will tell you this. A couple years ago, clearly I know how to play DFS, but it takes a different type of skill to play college football. And I just kind of hopped in, listened to some guys that were smarter than me, and lo and behold, last season, man, I mean, I was just crushing college football, and the season before that too. So I did want to plug that for the company. I mean, if you want to get involved right now, get into college football, get into NFL, get into baseball. And then college football will run in the NBA a little bit, so you'll get a little bit of NBA too at one point. At some point when it comes back in, November, December, get a little bit of preseason football, a little bit of preseason NBA. We'll have Alan Lim writing articles, and I'm sure
Jamino's on it.
Jamino's going to be writing a little bit of preseason. So, you'll get a little bit of golf. Look, I don't push the company. I'm not the company man all the time in terms of pushing the promos, but I'm telling you people, just for the college football, it's worth it in the streets. I mean, these guys are fantastic. Fantastic.
I haven't played college football for a couple of years, but I loved it. It was a blast. Like I was out. I think it was not available in my state for some reason. I can't remember the reason why. And then once there's so many teams to keep track of, and especially during the COVID season, you'd find out in the middle of the first quarter, a sideline report was like, yeah, so-and-so is not playing today. It's like, well, because they don't have to report anything. There's no obligation to report. It's just annoying, obviously. But STL Cards, I know, is in on that. And like you mentioned, Fear Martolo, Head Chopper, 2-time millionaire winner.
Yeah, Dan. I mean, we get Dan Bach content with NCAA football people. That should tell you how good this is. You get the Thursday show, you get the Saturday show with STL and Ben Pritchard, if they're going to keep it. I mean, this is fantastic stuff, people. Fantastic.
Probably 5-6 weeks away. It's close.
Oh,
I'm sure.
My gosh, I can't wait. I just need to get in the college football Discord right now. I mean,
I used to stack Manziel and Mike Evans or something. That was my favorite. I would just stack those guys and have them score 7 touchdowns. That was a blast.
All right, guys. I'm sorry I took the show. This is my fault. I took the show off the rail talking about NCAA football. But since we were on, it really is fantastic, and I'm going to let it go at that. People want to hear about their stacks and dongs, Dean. Let's get it in.
So your favorite stacks tonight? I talked about that Toronto-Boston game again. All that weather pending, but assuming that game goes. Thomas Hatch, I don't think he's it. That bullpen's rough. Locked in for 9 innings, Boston. The other side, Garrett Richards has been an absolute disaster. He's been worse with the loss of sticky stuff. I think that's 2 places to absolutely exploit. The Mets versus Cincinnati. We talked about that one last night. Robert Stack. Robert Stack. He was like an unsolved mysteries. This is Robert Stock. And
what about Robert Pack? That's a good one.
Pac-Man from Denver.
Yeah,
we're showing our age. Man.
Okay.
We're showing our age on that one. Yeah, point guard for the Nuggets, right?
Yes.
But I mentioned yesterday the Mets did not have a lefty in their bullpen that was available, and they happened to call one up at some point. But he threw yesterday, and I don't know if he's available today. They have that guy, and then they have the dude that threw 80 pitches before. So they still might not have a lefty available tonight. We'll see. But no Castellanos. Castellanos still hurt. He emergency pinch hit last night, but I think he just stood there basically. Where are you looking as far as your favorite snacks? I think that's the clear places to look. And of course, Coors, obviously.
Yeah.
Do you have anything heavily over the other ones?
Yeah, absolutely. And I did want to say that. I'm going to try to give you some stacks that aren't as popular that I like. I am going back to the Marlins today. I don't care that John Lester threw the game of at the end of his career. I do think they're going to be okay against Paolo Espino, and I'm not expecting Espino to be in there more than 3 innings. But so I do think those guys are okay. Another team that I like, I'm going back to the well. No, didn't work out as good as we maybe had hoped on yesterday. I'm going right back to the well on Houston. Tristan McKenzie, he's another big-time prospect, but has just really struggled this season with command. I mean, he's been all over the place. And so, against a team like Houston, I keep saying this, Houston's going to explode one day. And this is where my inner Derek Carty comes in. I don't know when they're going to start scoring 10 runs a game and when they're going to keep scoring 3 and 0. But what I do know is when the good spots come up, I can just keep using them in the good spots at low ownership because they seemingly don't know how to score runs anymore. You get my point, Dean. I'm basically catering to recency bias that Houston's dead. Well, they're not dead. And so I will be back on board with Houston tonight. It's a team that I really like. And then also, I don't want to consider this sneaky, but I do like the Pittsburgh Pirates against Taylor Widener. Taylor Widener is not very good, Dean. And so I am.
He was like 11K on DK a couple weeks. It's all to DraftKings.
I don't care about that. I don't care about that. I'm very interested in picking up a few Pittsburgh Pirates bats if things come out my way. He's a guy that's mostly throwing fastball. And so, when you look at the fastball, I mean, these guys have really good contact rates. Adam Frazier, 88% contact rate. Brian Hayes, 89%. Brian Reynolds, 85%. Ben Gamble, 90%. John Nagowski, 100%. Now, Gregory Polanco, he's at 68%. But even Kevin Newman down here at the bottom is at 95%. These are contact rates. Contact doesn't necessarily mean hits, but the higher percentage of contact, the more likely you are to get, a bat on a ball and more opportunities to get on base. That's what we're talking about here. And so I think Pittsburgh may have an opportunity to really run the base paths here. And so they're on my list because I don't trust Widener, especially against lefties right now. They're taking them to school.
I personally can't fully stack it, but I like Reynolds and I like Brian Hayes. I think those guys are both legit, and Frazier's fine. 1 through 3. I don't know if you need the salary savings at Gamble, but sure, I hear you.
That was just so people understood the contact rates. I'm not saying you have to play Ben Gamble. Me, Dean. I want to give out the information.
I hear you. Give me your official Coors take. We've kind of we've mentioned it a couple times. I know it seems like we like Aaron Marquez more than we like the Mariners. I do think I'm fine punting Kelnick. He's like 2-1 on DK. Like, okay, if that's what you want to do. I think
he'll strike out 3 times and hit a home run.
And in this too, but yeah.
And in this case, he may strike out 4 times. But I do like Marquez more than the Mariners.
Same.
And so here's the thing. And I have kind of changed my stance on Coors this season. And I'll communicate that hopefully accurately. There was a time where I didn't play Coors at all. I didn't care what slate it was. I didn't care what time it was. I didn't care if it was 4 games, 5 games. I did not play Coors. And the reason is because of the elevated prices that the players would have compared to what I felt like their outcome was going to be. So I felt like I would be extremely handicapped at pitcher. Well, I want to play Jacob deGrom a lot more than I want to play some Coors bats, if that makes any sense. So, but if you look this season, overall, I don't feel like the Coors bats have been as inflated as in recent times. So I have changed my stance a little bit this season when I feel like it's a good spot. But all in all, I still don't play a whole lot of Coors. In fact, I played a lot more Coors pitching this season because I felt like the prices have been too deflated. Like I played Austin Gomber. I played John Gray. I played Marquez several times. I've played pitchers on the other side when they've just had deflated pricing. So I played a lot more pitching than hitting, but I do feel a lot better because I feel like the prices aren't all over the place or super inflated as usual. Like if you look at Coors right now and you look at the prices on the Rockies, I mean, Garrett Hampson, 43, Connor Joe, 26, Trevor Story's 59. But outside of that, no one's really expensive. I mean, Ryan McMahon is 5'1", CJ Cron 5K. Okay, but overall, this whole team used to be like 56, 58. It was just a different team. And then you look on the other side, you got Crawford at 39, Haniger at 44, Seager at 4K. Now, I'm not playing those guys, but I'm using that to settle into my point where I'm saying Coors pricing hasn't been as inflated to me this season as in recent times.
You used to be forced to a decision point of like either get this or that, and now you can get both. Is the point?
Correct.
I think that's the point you're trying to make.
Yes.
No Mets lineup, by the way. Why are the Mets an hour until they play baseball? I still don't see a Mets lineup. I'm not really sure what the story is there. Maybe they're calling somebody up or what, but maybe they're getting another left-handed reliever. Who knows what's going on?
Maybe they're picking up Trevor Story, sending Lindor to Colorado. I'm just kidding. That's a joke, people. That's a joke. That was just a play on players.
You want me to? I can go really, really quick around the horn, and we can go right to the chat.
I mean, Dean, let's take these questions. I mean, well, go ahead.
Give me like 30. Well, here. I like Mitch Garver at catcher. He's back. He's back from his the nut incident. Banged out 2 homers last night. Raleigh is 2K on DK as a punt. We don't necessarily like Raleigh, but he's batting 5th in Coors Field.
I like Tucker Barnhart, 2,800.
I like the Reds. Votto, I'm back on Votto, especially on FanDuel. I like that price. Polar Bear, Pete Alonso, lefty, nice ballpark, obviously. Rizzo's pretty cheap at 3.8K. If you have the salary, by all means, Vladdy.
I like Yuli Gurriel.
And Aguiar. I think you like Aguiar as well, too, I would imagine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is he in the lineup today? I assume he is, right?
I mean, he's 3,900. No, is he 30? No. Yeah, 4,100. 4,100. Yes.
Hampson is too cheap. He's going to be the chalk du jour at second base. India, especially on FanDuel, is really impressive as far as the asking price. Anything else? Well, send me in for Toronto if you have the salary. You want to add anything here as far as second? Cronenworth.
I do like Jorge Polanco. I don't trust Dallas Keuchel. He's my gas can of the day. I haven't talked much about Minnesota, but I do think they could possibly hang a number. Gene Segura, 3,300. Love him today against Domingo Germán. I know this bullpen is supposedly going to be lights out. And then don't forget Mr. Brad Miller down there. Dong alert, $2,600 Brad Miller in the 7-hole. Feels like he's going to send one out of the park.
Lefty, Yankee Stadium, really, really short right porch. Seager is cheap enough, and I'll play him against Marquez. I'll play them both in the same lineup. I don't care. I'm okay doing that. I'm not forcing that. Devers, if I have the salary, love Devers. I mentioned Hayes. I think he's a little bit too cheap. I think Biggio's too cheap. I know he's buried in the 8-hole, but he's still, I think he can get those 4 at-bats. And Machado's, I think the Padres are interesting speds up there against your boy Toussaint. We haven't really talked about them. I think they're going to be mostly neglected. Anything you want to add there?
Let's add some Moncada in there. Let's add some Abraham Toro in there. Let's add some Eugenio Suarez, which you probably already talked about him at 3,400.
Yeah, a Story, obviously. Tatis, obviously, at shortstop. A little bit cheaper there. Bogart, especially if you're stacking Boston.
And our Pittsburgh guys. Cabrian Hayes, man, 4K. I mean, this is home run alert for Cabrian Hayes today. I'm telling you.
He just, that troll account, it's you got a barrel. And like on Twitter, I'm like, oh, because I was kind of on the bubble with some things and I had a bunch of Hayes last night. And it was like barrel 390 feet out. Oh, it's the worst. It's so tilting. Jesse Winker is still ridiculously too cheap. 3.9 on DK, 3.3 on FanDuel. I know he's cold or whatever. Don't care. He had a big hit last night. I don't know he's been cold. If you want to argue that's the reason why the price has been down. But
get him a jacket.
Naquin is still too cheap. So this is why I think I like the Jarren Duran and Naquin better than Kelnick. So I don't know if I need Kelnick, but of course I'm fine playing him. But they're 2.3, 2.3, and 2.1 on DK. All those prices are goofy. It just opens up the world. All the Toronto outfielders, Kike Hernandez at what 3.7 is too cheap. Anything you feel free you want to add as far as the outfielder, hit up the chat.
Mr. Goodwin from the Chicago White Sox. Listen, these White Sox lefties, I'm telling you, they're in a good spot against Mr. Obert today, or Obert, however we want to pronounce it.
Massive splits.
Right. It's insane. And last but not least, keep playing Michael Brantley at these prices. He's 3,200 and the pricing is wrong. You just load him up. Load him up every day. It's like guaranteed 10 fantasy points on DK almost every day. And 10 might be a stretch, but he does it all. He should not be 3,200.
That's a weird price. Yeah. He doesn't do anything amazingly. He's just good at everything. Like, he has not a great home run hitter, but he's just a good hitter.
Right.
Yeah, that's a weird price.
Hitting is good too. Compliments of Dave Potts.
Devin waiting in the wings. I promised 10 minutes, and I'm a big liar.
Look at that, Dean.
Yeah, man, I want to get these questions from the chat. Man.
Yeah,
Let's jump.
Let's jump into some lightning round. We'll start with the stacks. All right, Dean, White Sox.
All right, so we do 1 through 5. 1, we hate it. 5, we love it.
I know, Dean. I'm on the show.
It's not the first day, Dean.
Well, no, but I'm reminding the chat. There's probably somebody new that popped in.
I'm sorry. My bad, Dean. Shame on me for being anxious.
They're all vets. They're all vets. Go ahead, Dean.
Well, there's hopefully somebody new. Okay, what is this, RG? So Gavin Sheets is batting second. Walk-off dong the other day. His dad's Larry. Plenty of power.
Lightning round,
got
Dean.
ridiculous splits. Oh, let's go with 3. I'll take a 3 on Chicago.
5 on 5.
All right, Mets.
Who is that?
Mets. Will, start with you.
4.
We don't have a lineup. Are we sure they're playing baseball? I like the Mets
In
too.
fact, I'm
3.
going 3 on the Mets. They've got what's his face, Mr. Ground Ball, Wade Miley. 3 on the Mets. 3 on the Mets.
Same.
All right, Reds. Dean.
4. Like the Reds.
I'm with you.
All right, Astros. Will.
5.
3.5.
And round it off with the Cubs.
Oof, man. Oviedo is so bad. He doesn't strike anybody out, and he walks a bunch of dudes. But guess who's also terrible? The Cubs. 2.5. They're fine.
3.
All right, let's touch on a couple of quick questions. Eric,
Let's get it.
thoughts on fading Nola?
I don't want to do it. I'm not doing it. I know Eric's fading Nola. That's my guy.
Yeah,
Eric.
he loves it.
But I'm not fading Nola today. I'm not doing it against that bad lineup.
All right.
I'm definitely going to go out of my way to have some lineups without him, but I know he's like the right play. But if he's too much the right play, he'd be too heavily owned. I think there are definitely pivots that are justifiable.
I will be looking at that ownership to see if I want to get a Yankee stack in. But do you like Dunning, Dean?
I like him, but I don't think he pitches long enough to be very relevant. That's my issue. Even if he's pitching good, he's going to go no more than 5 innings, as far as I can tell. More playable on DK, can't play him on FanDuel.
All right. Will, you want any Marquez tonight?
Plenty.
I
mean, Marquez is pretty much my favorite pitcher on the slate, believe it or not. He's my number 1.
I like him a good bit, too.
Let's see. K-Freak, Dean, DK single entry, Boston or Toronto for your stacks, if you had to pick one?
If I had to pick one, the Toronto side.
James Kaprelian, you playing him at all, Will?
He's not on the slate.
Not on the slate.
He already started. They playing the Angels at 4 o'clock.
You got me,
Eric. Trying to stump us? What's going on here?
Eric's trying to stump me. He's trying to get players that aren't even playing.
Eric, that's good.
Thoughts on Oviedo?
Yeah, it's bad versus bad. He's not good. He's cheap. I'd rather play the dupe of the Dodgers if I'm going to be going that low. Give me Josiah Gray.
All right. Tony wants to know good weather spots. I'm going to scroll through the weather edge while we get this one. Who's your guy from Derek? We'll start with Dean for both of you.
Who is my guy tonight?
They want home run calls? Is that what they want?
I think
Guys,
we got a separate home run call. So this is who's your favorite play?
Herman Marquez?
I'm going to go to the bats because I think everybody knows that. Michael Brantley. I'm going to keep saying it everywhere. Give me Brantley everywhere.
I'm back on Winker. I know look, I shouldn't say that. That's super chalky, but I think he's a good chalk play. Jaron Duran on DK. I like him a good bit. 2.3K prospect on the road, not locked in, but very good chance of 5 ABs, weather pending. So this Hatch guy in that bullpen is just beat up in Toronto, and they're in a great ballpark, obviously.
All right. Another part of Tony's question was wanting to know info. Looks like extreme hitters for Herman and Nola, extreme pitchers for Dunning and Skubal. Otherwise, the rest of them are pretty average.
Wait, Herman's got an extreme hitters umpire. I didn't see that.
Mm-hmm. Looks like it.
But that's not going to bother him.
Yeah, it's going to bother me.
It's going to bother Dean, that's for sure.
Dean, extreme hitters umpire is overrated when it comes to this matchup, Dean. He's playing Seattle. He's not facing the Dodgers. He's facing Seattle.
Well, extreme hitters for Atlanta as well. I just clicked the refresh, and I guess that news just kind of came in. Alfonso Marquez, extreme hitters umpire for Darvish and for Toussaint.
Nice.
And again, I don't freak out about that stuff. But
more questions.
Sure you don't, Dean. Dean, let's get you more comfortable with this one from your burner account. Wants to know, can you ask Dean who's he feel most comfortable with in Yahoo Cash?
I am not playing Yahoo tonight. Did I have to Yahoo content, so I can't tell you. I wish I could. I'll tell you what our experts think. Just give me a second.
Yeah, Will, Derek wants to know DK tournaments, Hoskins or McCutcheon in your Philly stack?
Hoskins.
All right. Do you have any interest in either pitcher in the Arizona-Pittsburgh game? That's Anderson
No.
and Widener. No?
No, never.
Dean, you ready?
Yeah, so Garcia, Grant has Garcia first at $42 and Nola second at $43, and then McClanahan. That is and then right there is Skubal. That seems to be the sweet spot. Nola, Garcia, McClanahan, Skubal. That's like the top four. Any of those probably be fine in cash.
I get it. It's because this lineup. I get it. I totally get it.
All right, we got one more from Hilda. Wants to know, Dean, given that the Marlins announced they would begin to reduce Rogers' pitch count, should we avoid him in tournaments or go with him given the extra bullpen usage yesterday?
Yeah, I said that at the top of the show. I'm not playing Rogers. They're pushing back pretty clearly. There's no reason to push him. They're not going anywhere. So, and he's also, it's a full price. Like, why? No, and the matchup's not great, and the ballpark's not great. So there's zero reason. Oh, but I should mention Zimmerman's 2.2. If you need the salary at first base on TK, why is Ryan Zimmerman 2.2K? Don't necessarily need it, but a nice little punt. I will not play any Trevor Rogers tonight. And
we're out of time, so take us home, Dean.
Yeah, stay tuned for Crunch Time. You got Dave Potts. Cheese is good. Of course, this is on the premium. Pay up. Get yourself $10 off the first month for baseball, any sport, or all the sports, $10 off that way. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey, soccer, esports, MMA, golf, anything but the NASCAR.
The Mayhew's out, people.
What was that?
DJ. The human sneeze is out.
Oh, no.
Go,
Go,
Dean.
DJ. That's my DJ.
Oh, my
He's
goodness.
out. Nola, people.
All the
Is
Nola.
Greg Gardner going to bat fifth now or lead off? What's going to happen in this lineup?
Get out of here, Dean. Get out of here.
We gotta run,
Dean.
Dean.
Tonight, talking basketball, 8:30, golf at 7:20. That was Chief. That was Devin. Hit the like button on your way out. Do subscribe, turn on notifications. We're out of here. Oh!